This is the Daily Divide. But when you're in a recession or depression, that's what you do. You give the people a chance to build, to have a job and to build it. Now, I was going to transition to a thing that I honestly believe in that this country should do, that I think is kind of looked down, I believe. I think that would bring this country together, is that I believe that there should be a national service. That this country should have a national service. And what I mean by that is that I don't necessarily, and I don't mean, a mandatory conscription. I don't believe that. I believe it should be an option. This military is going down the shit, and I think we need a stronger NZDF to combat the new threats, whether or not, you're on the left and you disagree with that. It's just a fact. China is becoming a threat. But more of, I believe that if you join, I believe you have the right to, to go to have tertiary education for free. But we can all have our dreams. But I believe that you should have a right to have a job, and within
More
that,
money to
we
print.
should implement a public works project, having that right to be paid and to have a job and to get the education through that, and in turn investing in assets and infrastructure projects that people can be proud of and are a part of. Are you keeping up with me here?
Well, I am, but all I'm hearing is the government spending more money, printing more money to make all this shit happen.
I'll be a bit more succinct here. I know I don't believe in Rishi Sunak's, your national service, or when you leave school, you can deliver, you have a compulsory service of delivering pills to old people or something, whatever he said. I believe that when you leave school, you have the choice of, yes, getting an apprenticeship. Or if you don't know what you want, you can join this program of sorts, and it will contribute. It will be a public works program to contribute to our. I'm not really being descriptive here. To our country's prosperity, right? It's a right to a job. You get paid. That's after you leave
So
school.
you
of
want the
course.
government to take on all these projects, say building highways, like you say. So then, what happens to the companies that were doing that before your national service comes and strong arms all these good hardworking people and business people that have built these great businesses over time by taking risks and helping the country before such thing happened.
You're making a bold assertion as to whether or not I believe that it could be a contractual basis with, Downer or whatever company. I don't know, Roadworks for instance. That's just an example of what this program could bring through.
Okay, and then basically, if you did have a contractual basis, contractual basis with the
Agreement.
private sector, that you're basically telling them who they have to hire by doing that.
Well, it's a guarantee. If you leave school, you have a guaranteed job. That's the whole point. When you have a job, you spend money. That's good for the economy, isn't it?
Sure.
And
sure,
not only that,
it
it's a
is.
double on effect, because that person is not only getting educated in that fact, they're getting an apprenticeship. I mean, if it's roadworks, that civil engineering could be the next step. They could find a passion in that, and not only that, they're helping towards the betterment of the country, getting better, better roads, better dams, or whatever the hell, And it could come to the military if you want to join. If you want to join the military, even just the reserves, that's also important as well. It's not. It's a two-way thing here. I mean, I also believe within that program, if you work in this, if you choose to go to tertiary education, that should also be paid for. Like if you work for, I don't know, in this hypothetical program, in this national service outfit for 3-5 years, whatever, for a set amount of years, you have that right. You have a right, and that your tertiary education would be paid for, because you've had you've made your service to your country.
No, that would never work. So you basically want to make the service, from what I'm hearing, you're going to make the service that's going to cost money, which is going to, cost the taxpayer more money. And then by the time these people to their service or conscription or whatever you want to call it, then the government's going to pay the bill on their tertiary education. No. We already subsidise it. I think that's enough.
I mean, like it's not only that, but like, at least a guaranteed job into a next field. Like, for example, civil engineering and roadworks. If you want to do civil engineering and you want to keep that knowledge in the country, I see no reason as to why keeping these projects going and funding these people to go and have a scholarship to learn and broaden their and to be more enlightened is how not beneficial. And not the value.
Look,
like you always see
I
the
think it is
cost of something, but
valuable.
never the value of something. Like there's a
Well,
reason
I
this
think
country has a brain drain.
I
mean,
absolutely believe that
like,
it's valuable.
not even
I believe it's valuable. I believe what you're saying is going to be valuable.
not even the practical sense of that. There's also a moral sense. Like, I mean, like, do you hear these older people, saying that these young people that have no attention, don't love this country at all? Something like this would absolutely bring this country together and have a more solid connection.
Here's the thing, right?
And patriotism.
All these things you're talking about already exist in the private sector. We don't need to blow all this money, and have a service that you do your 3 year service or 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, whatever service. There's already the private sector, and giving the tax cuts to these people are going to boost investment into these fields, into any fields.
So you don't believe that money wouldn't go to shareholders and to dividends and that, and to stock dividends?
Well, sure, but then you know what happens to the majority of stock dividends? They get reinvested into the company.
Right. So how does that go? How does that get invested and turned into the public, though? Like, because stuff like this, that's just trickle down economics. That introduced the problem of I recruit more people. When there's a recession, we lay off those people, and what do those people do? They just what's going to happen to them?
Yeah, and you know what happens?
Here you go, Great Depression.
You know what causes the recessions is by big government spending.
Do you know what Do you know what caused the Great? Oh God, we're doing this debate. I thought you did history with me together. Do you know what caused the Great Depression? Because it wasn't big government. It was lack of big government. Actually, it was quite the opposite. Do you know what caused the recession?
Well,
no, not the recession. Sorry, the Great Depression. Do you know what caused the Great Depression?
Then, so I don't focus on dwell on the past.
So what caused the Great Depression is the obviously lack of big government. Well, it was the case of the fact that banks were willy-nilly giving out loans for people to buy stock on Wall Street, which created a bubble, which collapsed. That has nothing to do with big government spending. That had nothing to do with government overspending for public works. They had nothing to do with government printing money. They had everything to do with private investment. The next thing to do, and I'm not saying private investment is a terrible thing and we should get rid of it, okay? So don't catch me there. The next thing is that 2008 stock crash. Do you know what caused that?
Well, it was the same thing. But here's the thing. So
what caused that was, effectively was, it was, I'm boiling down very simply here. What caused it was it was a huge housing bubble, the commodification of houses, people giving out these giving out these loans to people that couldn't pay them off, and once it culminated into a height of people not being able to pay off the loan, so they all defaulted, and it created a huge collapse in the economy. Where in this do you hear, oh, government spent too much, oh, government, gave too much money to low income families so they could spend?
Mm-hmm. Because it's the same whether it's private or public. The government spends more money. The private sector spends the money from lending the money. It's the same thing.
No, it isn't. You're equating something that doesn't exist.
That doesn't make any sense. It does, because if private sector lend, it's going to cause the same issue as it does with government, except the government does it on a much bigger scale nowadays because they just go willy-nilly. especially your mates over the aisle. They love it, and then they want to fucking,
Hey, who?
you know,
Who
then
over
they
the
want a
aisle?
capital
Australia.
gains tax, and
Oh,
well,
you're talking about
uh,
yeah, sorry. I thought you were. Yeah.
you know, and then they want a capital gains tax, and then they want everyone to ride their bikes to work and sing Kumbaya. Well, never going to happen. But here's what I'm saying is look, you have a problem with government spending. That's the big problem, and the lending is driven by the OCR. When the OCR was so low, right, at like 2.49 or whatever percent it was during COVID, money became cheap, so it was easy to get.
Mhm.
That's what drove up inflation.
Right.
That's how it works. Whether it's private or public, it works the same.
Right, but so could you
Except with
tell me
private,
that where's the guarantee of low income? I want to close this off because we're hitting 1 hour 20 minutes. We could probably go on forever, but I just want to say here. So where is the situation here? Is that if there are systems in place for the government, and if you're working at a private institution or a private company, and there is a recession or a depression, where is the obligation that company keeps these people on? To I don't know, keep them, keep their jobs secure. There is no obligation because their primary motive, as you said, is profit for a good reason. I'm not faulting that. I mean, if I had a business, which I want to have a business, my primary motive is going to be profit because you want to get as much money as possible, of course. That is why, I guess this is our closing statements, that's why it's important to have government to be the safety net. And that if there is a recession, that is never, well, I won't say never, but it's usually not caused by central government. There will be a safety net that will catch these people. They won't slip through the cracks and go into unemployment, go into criminality, and be, in this loop of poverty and wealth inequality. That is the purpose. Like you can't really address the fact that in that scenario, a private like a company will, like, it's just the fact they lay people off to keep profits or to keep as much profit as possible. Like, do you even that, right? Sorry, I just don't like what happens to those people.
they lay people off because they can't afford to do business the
Right.
way that they used to do it. But here's the thing.
Like that,
It's
would
always
increase
gonna
inflation,
happen.
right? Because that people, they lose their job. They most likely in that situation, other jobs might not be, especially in rural communities. Like the meatworks was it Timaru? I think the meat was it the freeze works and the meatworks. Sorry, I'm thinking off the cuff here. It's almost midnight. Timaru, like it's the biggest employer in that area. There isn't really many other opportunities. And so the government in that scenario is supposed to catch them, give them that ability to, stay on their feet, and maybe even, I would love to, you'll hate me saying this, nationalize that and maybe sell it off later, to keep that business going or to, grant that business. Or, give them a program, a job seeker program of sense to pay for the other jobs, because otherwise they're just going to be sitting on their, like, just sitting there going, well, what do I do? Like that's the point of government. Like you don't seem to, you just think, you lose that job, you get fucked, find another job, or you're poor, why don't you just buy a house? Like that seems to be your solution.
I've never said that, but I've
When you
get
boil
another
it
job.
down,
Have a look
that's
for
it.
another job.
Like you never grasp the fact that sometimes that can't be a possibility, or there might be a situation where you don't know enough, or you don't have that enough knowledge to get that specific job, or you might. Anyway, do you want to do a closing statement, and we'll just finish off because we're hitting an hour 23 minutes.
Well, here's what I'll say is, look, we need to stop spending money in the government and actually spend money in the private sector, incentivize them, which they've done with the tax cuts, and absolutely continue.
So you do
in the
believe
private
that
sector.
borrowing for tax cuts is a good thing? Borrowing money for tax cuts is inherently a good economic decision for the country?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Carry on.
You
Sorry,
know,
carry on. I
the-
just want to get that straight.
and then you have, and then those to your tax cuts point, those tax cuts are going to pay for, employ more people, better technology, bigger business, less government. All these good things that um, contribute to a prosperous nation, which we shall have eventually, I hope. And I think that you look at it. I know you just want to spend money willy nilly, nationalize this, nationalize that, and
In an ideal world,
and
but
have
yeah.
a socialist state.
I'm not a
But
socialist. I'm not a socialist.
you're a
I
socialist.
think you're bastardizing the term of socialism, because I don't really think I am.
You're a
Carry on.
socialist.
Sorry, carry on.
Okay, boys, he's a socialist.
I guess I'm
And
a
I'm a
practical.
dick.
And you're a dick, yeah.
And I'm a dick.
What's better, a socialist or a dick?
A dick, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, you said it. You love dick. Gay jokes.
Wow, I
We
wouldn't
have
say
fun here at the
that.
Daily Divide.
I wouldn't say that. I mean,
It's okay to be gay, by the way.
I mean,
Not that
I
I
wouldn't
need
say-
you need my approval. Carry on.
I mean, I don't like dick. I mean, you're a and I'm talking to you.
Can we say that? I'm going to bleep that. I don't know if we can say that.
No, but yeah, that's all I got to say on the matter. I think, great job, and my laptop's about to go flat. That's
Yeah.
yummy. I get
Yeah.
what you're saying, but yeah, we can chop this up anyway, even into like 10-minute clips of shit, and then that's that much content,
Yeah. Are we done?
I think we're done. I think we've fucking talked a hole in this broadcast.
Keep going.
Suck my fucking